The day before the provincial exam interview, just as I stepped onto the bus, a barrage of comments suddenly flashed before my eyes. Don't move. The one in the back wearing a baseball cap is the younger brother of the top scorer in the written exam. He's about to accidentally spill mineral water on your pants. The woman in the front is a hired accomplice. Once the water spills, she'll scream and accuse you of harassment. 4 people on this bus are in on it. Once you're dragged off and reported to the police, tomorrow's interview will be ruined, and you'll never pass the political review. The moment the comments vanished, the sound of a bottle cap twisting came from behind. I glanced sideways and saw a hand holding a mineral water bottle, tilting it toward my knee. The woman in the front had already turned sideways, her lips slightly parted, waiting for that scream. I smiled. My name is Lin Bei, 27 years old, and I've been preparing for the civil service exam for 3 years. This year is my last chance. The day the provincial exam written results came out, I ranked second. Just 0. 3 points behind the first place candidate, Zhou Yifan. The odds of overtaking him in the interview were high. My mom fried a whole plate of chicken legs in the kitchen, saying it was an early celebration. I didn't dare eat them, afraid I'd get an upset stomach. 3 years. 3 years of waking up at 5 and studying until midnight. 3 years of sitting on the sidelines. 3 years of hearing, look at so-and-so. They've already made it. All my chips were riding on that 20-minute interview tomorrow. The bus was scheduled to depart at 2 p.m., a 4-hour ride from the city to the provincial capital. I didn't notice anything unusual when I got on. My seat was in the 7th row, by the aisle, with the one next to it empty. I stuffed my backpack into the overhead rack and sat down when suddenly, a burst of fluorescent text exploded before my eyes. Don't change seats no matter what. The guy in the baseball cap in the back row equals Zhou Yifan's younger brother, Zhou Yifei, a sophomore and a social loafer. The woman in the white t-shirt in the front row equals a hired accomplice, paid $800 a day, specifically to cause trouble. The man in the blue jacket behind you to the left equals the driver's nephew, tasked with blocking you from escaping. Water spilled on pants, woman screams harassment, 4 people surround you, police called, statement takes at least 4 hours, miss tomorrow's interview, political review ruined. I froze for 2 seconds. Not because of the content of the barrage, but because, why was there a barrage appearing before my eyes? I didn't have time to think about it, though, because the sound of someone twisting a bottle cap from the back row had already started. My body reacted before my brain. I stood up, turned around, faced the young man in the baseball cap in the back row. He was holding an unopened bottle of Nong Fu Spring, his hand frozen mid-motion. Bro, I smiled. Can't get the cap off? Want me to help? His eyes flickered. No need. I didn't move. I just stood there, looking down at him. Another line of barrage scrolled by. He's waiting for the woman in the front row to give the signal, 2 coughs. I turned my head. The woman in the front row was sitting upright, her face turned toward the window, but her ears were slightly red. I said loudly, "Hey, classmate, are you waiting for someone to give you a signal too?" The entire bus fell silent for a second. The woman in the front row stiffened. The baseball cap guy in the back almost dropped his bottle. I pulled out my phone, opened the camera, and aimed it at the back row. I got an anonymous call yesterday saying someone on this bus today was planning to frame me for harassment. That was a lie, but they didn't know that. The baseball cap guy's face changed. He stood up abruptly. What do you mean? Who do you think you are? Me? I raised my phone a little higher, making sure to capture his face. I'm Lin Bei, candidate number 2 for tomorrow's provincial interview. His pupils contracted. I continued. If you've got nothing to hide, you shouldn't mind me recording this and posting it online for everyone to judge, right? The woman in the front row suddenly grabbed her bag, stood up, and walked toward the door without looking back. The bus hadn't reached the stop yet. She tapped the back of the driver's seat. Driver, I'm carsick. Let me off at the next intersection. Before the driver could react, the man in the blue jacket behind me to the left also stood up. I'm getting off too. Within 3 seconds, The baseball cap got pulled his brim down low, squeezed past the seats, and followed them toward the front door. I leaned against my seat, watching them get off one by one. My phone camera stayed on the whole time. The last line of barrage scrolled by. Zhou Yifan himself is currently in a hotel in the provincial capital waiting for news. In his phone contacts, your number is labeled pending processing number 2. Pending processing. Fine. I'll remember that. The bus arrived in the provincial capital at 6:30 p.m. As I dragged my suitcase out of the station, the barrage comments appeared again. This time it was very short. Only one line. The taxi on the right. The driver knows Zhou Yifan. We'll take you to a remote motel on the outskirts. Tomorrow morning, you won't be able to get a cab back to the interview venue. I withdrew my hand, reaching for the taxi door handle. Turn around and walk toward the subway entrance. I had booked the hotel a month in advance. Just an 8-minute walk from the interview venue. When I arrived at the hotel, the front desk girl looked up at me. Mr. Lin Bei? Yes. Wait a moment. Let me check. She tapped a few keys, and her expression changed. Mr. Lin, I'm sorry, but your reservation was canceled today due to a system glitch. We're fully booked now, so there's really nothing we can do. I stared at her face. The barrage comments appeared. The front desk just accepted a 500 yuan red envelope to cancel your order for Zhou Yifan. There's no system glitch at all. Room 305 next door is empty. I smiled, pulled out my phone, opened the order screenshot, flipped the screen, and shoved it in front of her face. The platform shows my order is normal and confirmed for check-in. Check again. The girl's face changed slightly. There might be a delay. No problem. I put away my phone, my tone calm. While you check, I'll call 12315 and let them help you look into whether the system really glitched. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard for 3 seconds without moving. Then she typed quickly. Sorry, Mr. Lin, I misread earlier. Your room is fine. Room 305. Here's your key card. I took the key card. Didn't leave. Looked down at her and said word by word. As for that 500 yuan red envelope, you decide whether to return it yourself. If this gets found out, the consequences for both the hotel and you personally won't be pretty. Her face turned pale instantly. I picked up my suitcase and walked into the elevator. Room 305 was small but clean. I checked the door lock, windows, and air conditioning vents. The barrage comments didn't appear again, meaning it was temporarily safe. I set down my luggage and sat on the bed to review the situation. 3 years of exam preparation. I'd seen all kinds of dirty tricks from competitors. Submitting false materials, anonymous reports, blocking people at the exam entrance. But Zhou Yifan's move wasn't just competition anymore. This was a crime. Sexual assault framing and exam interference, at the very least. Administrative detention. At worst, criminal charges. Why did he dare to do this? The answer was simple. He ranked first in the written exam. If he also ranked first in the interview, he'd secure the position. But I was only 3 points behind him. The interview was structured, with a full score of 100. To overtake him, I only needed to score 6 points higher. He was scared, so he had to make me disappear. I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. I didn't have time to figure out why I could see the barrage comments. But since they gave me information, I'd use it. Tomorrow's interview, a direct confrontation. I wouldn't let 3 years of hard work be crushed by a rich kid's money. 10 p.m. I had just looked up from my interview question bank when footsteps sounded in the hallway. Very light. They stopped at my door. The barrage comments lit up. Outside the door is a hotel staff member holding a cup of complimentary calming tea. A quarter of a sleeping pill has been added to the tea. If you drink it, you won't wake up before 9 a.m. tomorrow. The interview roll call starts at 8:30. This is Zhou Yifan's third plan. Third plan. The bus was the first. Canceling the hotel was the second. And the sleeping pill tea was the third. This guy was pretty organized. A knock sounded. Sir. The hotel offers complimentary calming tea. I walked to the door, but didn't open it. Leave it at the door. Thanks. Okay. The footsteps faded away. I waited 30 seconds, opened the door, and picked up the teacup. Didn't drink it. Poured it into the toilet and flushed it away. Then I took out my phone and wrote a document listing everything that had happened from the bus ride to now in chronological order. I took a screenshot and saved it. This included the bus surveillance footage, hotel booking records, and the front desk conversation recording. I had turned on my voice recorder the moment I stepped out of the station. I saved 3 copies, one on my phone, one in the cloud, and one sent to my mom on WeChat. After that, I set 3 alarms, 6 a.m., 6:05 a.m., and 6:10 a.m. I turned off the lights and went to sleep. At 2 a.m., my phone vibrated. No barrage comments appeared. I rolled over and glanced at my phone. It was a text from an unknown number. Linbei, don't bother going to the interview tomorrow. It'll be a waste of time. You're only second in the written exam. Some things aren't yours to fight for. I stared at the message for 10 seconds. Then I took a screenshot and saved it. I replied with 4 words. See you tomorrow. At 7:30 a.m., I stood at the entrance of the interview venue. It was a 6-story old building housing a provincial government agency. A dozen or so candidates had already gathered at the door. Their expressions varied. Some were reviewing answer templates on their phones. Others paced back and forth. And a few, pale-faced, kept drinking water. I found a corner to stand in and took a deep breath. At 7:40 a.m., a black Audi pulled up at the main gate. The door opened, and a young man stepped out. He wore a white shirt, dark blue trousers, and his hair was slicked back with gel, making him look like he was heading to a banquet. The barrage comments exploded. Zhou Yifan, 24 years old, first place in the written exam. Father. Zhou Jingwo, deputy director of a municipal bureau. Mother. Chen Jiwa, section chief at a provincial agency. Uncle. College classmate of the secretary to the lead interview examiner. He already pulled strings last night. Examiner number 7 will give him an extra 3 to 5 points. My fingers clenched. 3 to 5 points. In a structured interview, a difference of 3 to 5 points from one examiner, after removing the highest and lowest scores and averaging, would translate to about a 1 to 2 point gap in the total score. I was trailing by 0, 3 points in the written exam. If he scored 2 points higher in the interview, my overall score would be hopeless. After getting out of the car, Zhou Yifan looked around. When his gaze swept over me, the corner of his mouth curled up slightly. It was subtle, but I saw it. It was a smile of certain victory, as if to say, so what if you showed up? He walked toward me. You're Linbei? I looked up. Yeah. He stood in front of me, half a head taller, reeking of strong cologne. Got the text last night. I didn't respond. He lowered his voice. Bro, take my advice. You did well on the written exam. But interviews, you know how it is. Subjective scores depend on the examiner's mood. No matter how well you perform, the score might not go your way. A line of barrage comments appeared above his head. He's nervous right now. It's an act. Your reaction yesterday exceeded his expectations, and he's not sure if you have evidence. I stared into his eyes. You make a good point. He was taken aback. Subjective scores depend on the examiner's mood. I repeated his words. So examiner number 7 should be in a good mood today. Right? Zhou Yifan's pupils suddenly contracted. The smirk on his lips froze. I didn't give him time to react and turn away. His voice came from behind. Bit strained. What do you mean? I didn't look back. At 8 a.m. sharp, all candidates entered the waiting room. The hall was lined with 3 rows of folding chairs, with a table in the middle holding bottles of water. The invigilator began calling names, verifying IDs, and drawing lots to determine the interview order. I drew number 4. Zhou Yifan drew number 6. He sat diagonally across from me, staring at me the whole time. Every now and then, A line of barrage comments would pop up. He's texting his uncle. That Lin Bei might know something. Tell number 7 to play it safe and not be too obvious. I looked down at the slip of paper in my hand, a faint smile curling at the corner of my mouth. The more flustered you are, the more mistakes you make. Candidate number 4, please come in. I stood up, straightened my collar, and pushed open the door to the interview room. Behind the long table sat 7 examiners. The chief examiner in the middle was a man in his 50s, with graying hair and a stern expression. 3 examiners sat on each side, varying in age, but all wore blank expressions. Dan McCoo lit up above each of their heads one by one. Examiner number 1, neutral. Gives normal scores. Examiner number 2, neutral. Tends to be strict. Examiner number 3, neutral. But in a bad mood today. Will deduct points from everyone. Chief examiner number 4, fair. From the discipline inspection background. Hates nepotism the most. Examiner number 5, neutral. Gives normal scores. Examiner number 6, neutral. Slightly friendly. Examiner number 7 has been tipped off. Will give Zhou Yifan 3 to 5 points higher, and normal scores to others. But he's timid. If he feels noticed, he'll immediately back off. I had a clear picture now. 7 examiners. Remove the highest and lowest scores. Take the average of the middle 5. Even if number 7 inflated Zhou Yifan's score, as long as the other examiners scored normally, his influence would be diluted. But if I performed well enough, chief examiner no. For the one from the discipline inspection background would give me a fair, high score. The key was, I had to make examiner number 7 dare not blatantly lower my score. Please sit down, the chief examiner said. I sat down, hands naturally resting on my knees. Candidate number 4, please look at the questions. The timer starts now. The question board was flipped open on the table. 3 structured interview questions. The first was a routine social phenomenon analysis. The second was an emergency response scenario. The third was an organizational coordination question. I glanced at them, already forming a framework in my mind. But suddenly, a line of red text appeared in the Demica the first time it had shown red. Warning, there's a trap in the description of the second question. The phrase "the public gathered in front of the government building," if you label it as a mass incident, examiner number 7 will deduct 4 points for insufficient political sensitivity. The correct phrasing, a concentrated expression of the public's reasonable demands. My breath paused slightly. Without the Demica's reminder, I would most likely have fallen into this trap. Mass incident is a high-frequency term in daily study, but in a formal interview setting, those 4 words are indeed a minefield. Steady. Start answering. I answered the first question in 3.5 minutes, with clear logic, divided into 3 layers, ending with policy recommendations. The expressions of several examiners didn't change, but chief examiner number 4's pen moved. He was taking notes. The second question, I deliberately avoided the phrase mass incident, using the public collectively expressing their demands instead, then expanded on 4 dimensions: emotional reassurance, information disclosure, demand categorization, and time-limited resolution. By the time I reached the 3rd dimension, I noticed examiner number 7's eyelid twitch. Damn it, he noticed you avoided that term. He's hesitating whether to find another excuse to deduct points. I didn't pause and continued answering. At the end, I added, the core premise of the above measures is to respect the public's right to express their reasonable demands and seek the optimal solution within the framework of the rule of law. This sentence was meant for chief examiner number 4, and also for number 7. I know where the trap is, and I avoided it. If you insist on deducting points, you'd better have a valid reason. The 3rd question was answered, and the timer went off. Total time, 11 minutes and 40 seconds. All right. Candidate number 4, the interview is over. Please wait in the waiting room. I stood up, bowed, and turned around. As I pushed open the door, the Damiku flashed one last line. Chief examiner number 4 gave you 88 points. Examiner number 7 hesitated for a long time and finally gave 81. He didn't dare to go too low. 88 points. In a structured interview, 88 is a very high score. I walked back to the waiting room, sat down, and my palms were covered in sweat. The waiting time is the most agonizing. No talking. No phones allowed in the waiting room, just sitting. I closed my eyes and heard someone pacing next door, back and forth many times. About 40 minutes later, candidate number 6, please come in. Zhou Yifan stood up. As he passed by me, his steps were steady, but I caught the smell of cigarette smoke on his fingers. Smoking wasn't allowed in the waiting room. He must have sneaked one in the restroom. Nervous, he went in. The bullet comments floated before my eyes. Zhou Yifan is answering the first question. Average performance. Nothing outstanding. For the second question, he used the term mass incident. Examiner number 7 gave him 87 on the scoring sheet, 4 points higher than usual. But examiner number 4 frowned. He wrote 79 in Zhou Yifan's scoring column and drew a question mark next to it. 79 points. Examiner number 4 gave me 88 and him 79. A 9-point gap. Even if examiner number 7 boosted him and suppressed me, after removing the highest and lowest scores and averaging, my overall interview score should be at least 5 points higher than his. A 0. 3-point difference in the written exam. A 5-point reversal in the interview. I was sure to win on the composite score. But I didn't relax. Because I knew, if Zhou Yifan realized he couldn't turn the interview around, he would activate Plan 4. The bullet comments confirmed my thoughts. After leaving the interview room, Zhou Yifan will immediately call his father, Zhou Jingwo. Zhou Jingwo will contact connections at the provincial department, trying to tamper with the interview scores before they are published. The window for altering scores is only from 8 p.m. tonight until 10 a.m. tomorrow, before the announcement. If you don't obtain the original scoring record before the announcement, you won't be able to provide evidence after it's tampered with. I opened my eyes. My heart raced. After the interview, the original scoring sheets will be signed and sealed by the chief examiner and sent to the personnel department for system entry. Between sealing and entry, there was a step involving manual operation. That was where manipulation could happen. What I needed was, before the scores were tampered with, to get a visual record of the original scores. And there was only one person who could help me do that. Examiner number 4. The one with a disciplinary inspection background, who hated nepotism the most. At 1 p.m., all interviews ended. Candidates were told to wait for the score announcement, to check the official website at 10 a.m. tomorrow. Most people left. I didn't. I stood at the entrance of the office building, waiting for 20 minutes. The examiners came out one by one from the side door. The bullet comments helped me lock onto my target. Examiner number 4's surname is Zheng Xiangdong, the disciplinary inspection team leader stationed at a provincial unit. He was seconded today as an interviewer. His car is a gray Volkswagen Passat, parked in row 3 of Zone B2. I quickly walked toward the B2 parking area. The gray Passat hadn't started yet. I walked up to the driver's side window and bent down. The window rolled down. Zheng Xiangdong looked at me. Wary, you're one of today's candidates? Team leader. I'm candidate number 4. Linbei. The interview is over. If you have any concerns, go through official channels. He started to roll up the window. Team leader, I said quickly. I know that examiner number 7 was tipped off today. Candidate number 6, Zhou Yifan. His father is Deputy Director Zhou Jingwo of a city bureau. The window stopped. Zheng Xiangdong's expression changed from wariness to sharpness. Do you have evidence? I have circumstantial evidence. I pulled out my phone from my pocket. From the bus to the hotel yesterday, Zhou Yifan did 3 things to target me. 1. He arranged for someone to falsely accuse me of harassment on the bus, trying to get me detained and miss the interview. 2. He bribed the hotel front desk to cancel my room. 3. He put sleeping pills in the complimentary tea. I have full audio and video recordings. I scrolled through the files, showing them one by one. Zheng Xiangdong didn't take my phone. but his eyes stayed fixed on the screen. After watching the last audio clip, he was silent for 5 seconds. What do you want? I want to confirm one thing, I said, looking him straight in the eye. Between the time you signed and sealed today's original scoring sheet and when HR entered it into the system, is there any chance it could have been tampered with? The corner of Zheng Xiangdong's mouth twitched. It wasn't a smile, it was a you really know your stuff expression. You suspect someone wants to change the scores? Not suspect, I said. I'm certain. Zhou Yifan only beat me by 0. 3 points on the written exam. There's no way he could overtake me in today's interview. His only chance is to alter the scores, and his father has the power to do it. Zheng Xiangdong stared at me for a long time. Then he pulled out his phone and dialed a number. Old Wu, the original interview scoring sheets, supervise the data entry yourself. Before entering them, take a photo and send it to me for the record. Yes, do it today. Don't let it sit overnight. He hung up, looking at me. He said, organize your audio and video recordings and send them to this email address. He handed me a business card. The 7th Inspection Team of the Provincial Commission for Discipline Inspection and Supervision. I took it with both hands and bowed. Thank you. Team leader, don't thank me, he said, starting the car. It's my duty. As the window rolled up in its final second, he added, 3 exams in 3 years. That's not easy. Get ready to start work. The Passat drove out of the parking lot. I stood there, gripping the card, my knuckles white. 3 years. The hardships I'd endured, the nights I'd stayed up, the cold stares I'd put up with, none of it would be casually erased by some rich and powerful second-generation heir. That evening at 8 o'clock, I returned to my hotel room and waited. The bullet comments started scrolling rapidly. Zhou Jiangwo is calling the deputy director of the HR department. The deputy director says, the scoring sheets have already been entered. Zheng Xiangdong personally supervised it. There's no room for manipulation. Zhou Jiangwo was silent for 15 seconds. He said, then have someone from the disciplinary committee step in and re-enter the scores under the pretext of a system malfunction. The deputy director refused. His exact words, Zheng Xiangdong, I don't dare mess with him. I sat on the edge of the bed, my heartbeat steadying. Block. All 3 of his plans had been foiled. The score tampering route was sealed off by Zheng Xiangdong. Zhou Yifan, what else have you got? At 9 o'clock, a new line of bullet comments appeared. Zhou Yifan is smashing things in his hotel room. He's decided to execute his final plan. After the results are announced tomorrow, he'll spread rumors online, claiming there was fraud in your interview, demanding the disciplinary committee investigate, and delaying your hiring process. He's already contacted 3 marketing accounts and prepared an insider tip-off article. I closed my eyes. This route was indeed effective, even if the accusations were eventually proven false. Once the disciplinary committee launched an investigation, my hiring process would be frozen. The investigation could take anywhere from a month to 3 months, and the staffing quota wouldn't wait. If the hiring deadline passed, even if I was cleared, the slot will be voided. The bullet comments continued. Core accusation of the article. Candidate number 4, Lin Bei, had a conflict of interest relationship with the chief examiner, Zheng Xiangdong, and had multiple private meetings before the interview. Conflict of interest. That conversation with Zheng Xiangdong this afternoon, if taken out of context, could indeed be twisted into pre-exam collusion. Cold sweat broke out on me. Zhou Yifan wasn't stupid. In a losing position, he'd chosen the path of mutual destruction. If I couldn't win, then I wouldn't get to win either. What to do? I paced back and forth a few times. The bullet comments didn't give me an answer, they only provided information, not solutions. I had to come up with a solution myself. I stopped. I sat back down at the desk and opened my laptop. He wants to spread rumors? Fine. Then I'll release all the evidence first, before he makes his move. Not online. I'll hand it directly to Zheng Xiangdong. I opened my email and started organizing the materials. The video footage from the bus, proof that he hired someone to frame me. The recording from the hotel front desk, evidence that he bribed someone to interfere with the exam. The photo of the drug tea, I took it before it was poured out. The screenshot of last night's threatening text message. And most importantly, I'm now writing a complete, formal written report, a real name report, on bribery, fraud, and malicious framing in the civil service recruitment process. Halfway through writing, the bullet comment lit up again. If you send the report and all the evidence to Jing Xiangdong's email before 11 p.m. tonight, the Provincial Commission for Discipline Inspection will launch an investigation by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. The investigation will target Zhou Yifan and examiner number 7, not you. Once the commission files a case against Zhou Yifan first, any rumors he spreads afterward will be seen as retaliation against the whistleblower. Not only will no one believe him, but it will also worsen his punishment. I glanced at the time. 9:40, enough time. My fingers tapped on the keyboard, word by word, condensing 3 years of endurance, yesterday's peril, and today's confrontation into a calmly worded report. No emotions, just facts, timelines, and attachment numbers for the evidence. 10:30 cent. The next morning, 10 a.m. results announcement. I opened the official website and found my position. Written exam. First place. Zhou Yifan. 75, 6 points. Written exam. Second place. Lin Bei. 75, 3 points. Interview scores. Zhou Yifan. 82, 4 points. Lin Bei. 87, 6 points. Overall scores. Lin Bei. 81, 45 points, ranked first. Zhou Yifan. 79, 0 points, ranked second. A gap of 2. 45 points. A crushing victory. I stared at the screen, my hands slowly clenching and then relaxing. 3 years. Over 1,000 days and nights. It's over. I leaned back in my chair and let out a deep breath. The ceiling was a little blurry. Not because I was crying. Because I hadn't blinked in too long. My phone buzzed. A bullet comment. Zhou Yifan received a call from the Provincial Commission for Discipline Inspection 15 minutes ago. Notified to cooperate with the investigation. His father, Zhou Jingwo, also got a call. Examiner number 7 is writing a statement. 3 marketing accounts expose articles were urgently retracted after the back office received a notice from the Provincial Party Committee's publicity department. No related content may be published during the Commission's investigation. I put my phone on the table. It buzzed again. A WeChat message. Mom, son, did you pass? I just checked. First place. You're first. Followed by a string of voice messages. The first one was full of sobs. I knew you could do it. Mom always knew you could. 3 years. And you finally. The rest was choked with tears. I turned my phone face down on the table. The blurry spot on the ceiling grew bigger. Fine. Not because I was crying. Really not. A week later, the Provincial Commission for Discipline Inspection's investigation report was released. I saw it in the news. The report didn't name names, but I recognized the content at a glance. In the 2024 civil service recruitment process, Zhou, deputy director of a certain bureau in a certain city, used his position to arrange for others to obstruct his son's competitor from attending the interview and bribed interview examiners to influence scoring fairness. After verification, Zhou has been removed from his post and transferred to judicial authorities for further handling. His son, Zhou, has had his recruitment qualification revoked and is banned from taking the civil service exam for 3 years. The involved examiner, Wang, has been demoted, removed from post, transferred to judicial authorities. Recruitment qualification revoked. 3-year ban. After reading the report on my phone, I didn't feel any sense of satisfaction or revenge. I just felt this is how it should be. It was always supposed to be this way. Exams are one of the few relatively fair pathways for ordinary people to rise. If you have money and power, you can hire the best teachers for your child and provide the best learning environment. I accept that. But drugging someone, hiring people to falsely accuse them of assault, and bribing examiners, that's not competition. That's crime. I turned off the news. There was still one unread message on my phone. It was from Jing Xiangdong. Just one sentence. Congratulations. After you start work, be a clean person. I typed 4 words in reply. Oh well. As I walked out the door, a bullet comment faintly lit up in my field of vision. Just one line, in gold. Congratulations on clearing the game. Next bullet comment trigger condition. When you or someone close to you faces injustice again. Then it disappeared. The sunlight hit my face, a little dazzling. I took a deep breath and stepped forward. The reporting date is the 1st of next month. A new life, officially beginning.